She was the girl I loved most. But when she loved me most, I chose to betray her. Everyone called me a heartless scumbag ex, and I didn't react at all. I abandoned her. I chose to become a human drug trial subject. 3 years later, I ended my time as a drug trial subject. The first thing I did was not go beg for her forgiveness. Instead, I went to the funeral services center. Because after 3 years of drug trials, my organs have failed badly. I only had 1 month left to live. I didn't want her to learn that I'd staged the betrayal on purpose back then, and spend the rest of her life drowning in regret and self-blame. So I would leave her forever with this secret. Mr. Mu, the total cost of your funeral package is 86,000 yuan. I looked down at the bank card in my hand. I only had 50,000. I never thought that even choosing the kind of death I wanted would be a luxury for me now. I handed over the bank card and said, I only have 50,000 for now. Can I pay the rest in a few days? The staff said, you can pay the balance within a month. Making 36,000 yuan in a month was no easy task, but there was one method I might try. I came to the entrance of the biggest jewelry gala in Jing City. Because I had no invitation, the security guards stopped me at the door. I waited there for 3 full hours, before the people inside finally started leaving. Qingya was arm in arm with Wuyan, walking out with graceful poise when a rich young man nearby flattered them. President Lin, Wuyan is unbelievably good to you. He didn't even blink when he bid on a wedding ring worth tens of millions. Qingya smiled faintly. Wuyan said, you only get married once, so everything has to be the best for me. That's his promise to me that we'll never divorce. Just as they were about to get into the black stretch Lincoln limousine, I called out to stop Qingya. When she heard my voice and turned to look at me, a dozen emotions flashed in her eyes. Before they finally hardened into bone-deep hatred, I walked up to her and took a Seashell bracelet off my wrist. Qingya, I want to exchange this bracelet for 36,000 yuan. This bracelet was made when we had just started dating, when we went to the beach, and she picked up the shells and made it by hand. She said, Mu Chen, trust me, one day, you can use it to trade for the most precious thing in the world. Qingya snatched the bracelet from my hand, looking as though she wanted to tear me apart and swallow me whole. Mu Chen, 3 years no see. You came looking for me, just for money? I lowered my eyes, avoiding her gaze. If it's not okay, then forget it. Anyway, I wasn't expecting much to begin with. Actually, I just wanted to see you one last time before I died. I wanted to remember your face clearly. After saying that, I reached out to take back the Seashell bracelet, but Qingya threw it straight to the ground. I immediately reached out for it, but she stomped on the back of my hand with her high heel. I couldn't help crying out in pain. She ground her sharp heel hard into my hand. The shells shattered, sharp fragments stabbed into my palm, and blood poured out. Qingya glared at me viciously. Does it hurt? Compared with the pain you once gave me, this doesn't even come close. A lot of people gathered around us, murmuring to each other, he's the scumbag who dumped President Lin. President Lin was still building her business. Then she had sudden heart failure and needed a heart transplant to survive. When he found out, he dumped President Lin outright, latched onto a rich young lady, and became a kept man. Went abroad. Has probably deeply regretted it by now. That's why he shamelessly came crawling back. What trash. If I were President Lin, I'd make sure he paid for it. What they said was true, but no one knew the truth hidden beneath those facts. Back then, Qingya had heart failure, and she urgently needed a heart transplant. After a great deal of hardship, I finally found a heart that matched hers. The match was a patient in a vegetative state. His father was obsessed with drug development. The only condition for agreeing to donate his son's heart was that I voluntarily become a human drug trial subject for his new miracle drug. I knew Qingya would never agree to let me do drug trials. So, I found someone to help me, and staged a scene where I cheated on her and abandoned her. After 3 years as a human drug trial subject, my body had been severely damaged by the drugs. I had multiple organ failure. The doctor said I had less than a month left to live. I looked up at her, a faintly mocking smile in my eyes. Qingya, acting like this makes me think you still can't forget me. Qingya pressed harder under her foot. It hurt badly, but it was nothing compared to the pain in my heart. She kicked me down to the ground. You think you deserve anything? A searing pain shot through my chest. My face went pale. I clenched my teeth and refused to let out a single groan. I crouched on the ground, picking up the shattered Seashell bracelet piece by piece. I put it in my pocket and prepared to leave, but a richly dressed woman blocked my way. She was holding a stack of cash. I heard, back then, for 10,000 yuan. You were willing to work as a male escort. Now, here's 10,000. Strip naked and show everyone how worthless your body is. The crowd burst into laughter. Seeing Chen still not moving, someone threw another 10,000 yuan at me. If that is not enough, I'll add another 10,000. Take it off. The others immediately jeered. Take it off, take it off. My face burned. Humiliation surged through me. I wanted to leave, but they had me surrounded. Wuyan took hold of Qingya's hand. Qingya, let's go. A man like that is not worth another glance from you. Qingya and Wuyan were about to get in the car, when something suddenly came flying at me from over there. A piece of trash, and head still pretending to be delicate. Strip him naked and let everyone have a look. I crouched on the ground, holding myself tightly. More and more filthy things were hurled at me. Everything before my eyes blurred. It felt like I was back in the orphanage, being bullied all over again. But this time, no one came to save me. I had personally pushed away the one person who would have stayed with me forever. The one who always stood behind me. Get away from him, all of you. Qingya's furious shout drove the crowd back. Then, a coat, still warm with body heat, was draped over me. Chen, where is Liu Qingyan? Back then, you abandoned me and went abroad with her. She let you live like this. I could see concern for me in her eyes. I said, my face pale. She got tired of me, so she dumped me. But I was after her money too. I wasn't losing out either. With a beauty like that, I got 10,000 yuan for one night. President Lin, do you want to try? Qingya shoved me viciously to the ground. You really are that cheap? Are you that desperate for money? She immediately had her assistant bring over 100,000 yuan and threw it at me. The sharp edges cut my cheek. There should at least be a discount for a monthly deal. Starting today, you are my servant. For this month, I'll take my time with you. After tossing out those words, Qingya got in the car with Wuyan and left. I slowly picked up the 100,000 yuan from the ground. I said bitterly to myself, my luck is not bad. In just one day, I had earned enough for my own burial plot. I took the money and went back to the funeral services center. After paying, I took a taxi to the address Qingya had left. As soon as I arrived at Chuncheon Lake Villa, the butler handed me a set of servant clothes. Put them on. President Lin said that you'll keep watch outside her door tonight. I changed clothes and went to the second-floor bedroom door. Before I even got close, I heard voices coming from inside. The two of them sounded very intimate. Those carrying things Qingya once said to me, now cut into my heart like blade after blade. I panicked and tried to escape, but the door suddenly opened. Qingya was wearing a nightgown. Her sharp gaze pinned me in place. How does it feel to be kept outside? I knew Qingya was getting back at me for what happened back then when I cheated. I could not let myself slip. Mr. Gu, are you usually a little too restrained? I reached out and put my arm around Qingya's waist. President Lin has paid so much, so I'm more than happy to give you a personal lesson. Qingya said viciously. You really are shameless. So as long as someone pays, you'll do anything. A seductive smile curved my lips. Of course, who would ever turn down money? Qingya shoved me away. A man like you disgust me. However, I doubt a beast would be that picky. I had barely understood what she meant when I heard her coldly order, drag him to the backyard, lock him in with Saibo. Two servants immediately came over and dragged me toward the backyard. Once we reached it, I realized Saibo was a ferocious Tibetan Mastiff. Seeing its huge fangs, I could not stop shaking all over. When I was a child in the orphanage, I was bitten by a dog. I have been deeply afraid of dogs ever since. No. I am not going in. I begged the butler beside me. Let me go. Please, let me go. Qingya's cold voice came from behind me. Chen, didn't you say you'd do anything for money? What? Scared now? The last scraps of reason held my mind in check. I said, fighting back my trembling. I can do anything for money. But staying locked up with the dog cost extra. What you've paid is not enough. Qingya roared. They'll add another 100,000. Lock this man up. The servants shoved me hard into the cage and locked it shut. The Tibetan Mastiff immediately stalked toward me with savage steps. I gripped the cage bars. Fear and despair swallowed every bit of my reason. My inner defenses collapsed. I could not stay calm any longer. I looked at Qingya and begged. Qingya, I was wrong. I was wrong. Please, let me out. Qingya looked at the man who had once hurt her, now kneeling before her, crying and repenting. But there was not a trace of revenge in her heart, let alone satisfaction. What she felt instead was, just then, I suddenly let out a scream. The Tibetan Mastiff bit into my calf. The pain and terror knocked me unconscious. By the time Wuyan changed clothes and came over, he saw the bodyguards carrying me. Qingya ran beside them like a madwoman, racing outside. She did not even notice when she knocked him to the ground. His gaze locked onto me viciously. Jealousy and malice flashed in his eyes. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself lying in a soft bed. The wound on my calf had already been bandaged. Wuyan was standing beside my bed. Seeing that I was awake, he asked sharply, demanded, Chen, why did you come back? Back then, you abandoned Qingya when she had heart failure, leaving her alone in the bridal room. Do you know, she almost died. When I got there, she was vomiting blood everywhere. Even then, she was still calling out your name. And yes, she was not meant to die. As soon as I got her to the hospital, a doctor came to say they had found a matching heart for her transplant. But the first thing she did after the heart transplant surgery was go look for you. She said she had recovered, so you would not look down on her anymore. She would work hard and make money, and give you the best life she could. And you ran off abroad with some rich woman to live it up. Do you know how desperately Qingya cried at the airport? Tears spilled down from my eyes. These past 3 years, my pain was no less than Qingya's. I was trapped in that lightless lab and could not get out, with nothing every day but endless pills and endless drug experiments. Wuyan went on. I stayed by Qingya's side for 3 years before I saw her slowly pull through. Now everything is finally getting better, and you come back to hound Qingya again, all for money. My lips moved. I wanted to say, I am not here for money. I am about to die. So I wanted to see Qingya one last time. But, in the end, I could not say a single word. Wuyan snapped, I will never allow a vicious freeloader like you to stay by Qingya's side. After saying that, he yanked me to my feet. Then he slammed his own head into the wall. Bright red blood poured from his forehead. Hearing the noise, Qingya rushed into the room. She hurried to help Wuyan up, and asked anxiously, Wuyan, are you all right? Wuyan leaned against Qingya's shoulder, and said weakly, Qingya. He pushed me. I froze in place. I had not expected Wuyan would frame himself like that, just as I was about to defend myself. Qingya lifted her foot and kicked me hard. Her eyes were terrifyingly cold. If anything happens to Wuyan, I will make you pay with your life. After that, she carried Wuyan and hurried to the hospital. I was kicked to the floor. A sharp pain shot through my abdomen. I curled up from the pain, but my heart hurt even more. Qingya hated me. She even wanted to kill me. Chen, isn't this exactly what you wanted? Why did it hurt so much that I wanted to die right then and there? I do not know how long passed. When the butler burst into the room with others, they held me down and took me to the hospital. The way they did it made me look like some unforgivable criminal. At the hospital, Wuyan's head had already been wrapped in gauze. Wuyan was lying in the hospital bed, his face pale. Qingya's eyes were full of pain for him. But the instant she saw me, it turned into hatred carved to the bone. Kneel. Apologized to Wuyan. I was forced down onto my knees. I could not move. At that moment, I gave up struggling to. My eyes were full of deathly stillness. I asked, if I apologize, will you let me go? Let me leave. I am truly exhausted. Both my body and my mind are in pain. Right now, I only want to find somewhere quiet and wait in silence for my death. At the word leave, Qingya's heart gave a sudden jolt. She picked up the cup beside the hospital bed and splashed water all over my face. You have no right to bargain with me. Chen, you owe me. You will never pay it back in this lifetime. I shot back sarcastically. President Lin, you really make it sound like you can't take a loss. When a man and a woman love each other, breaking up is perfectly normal. So, how did that become something I owe you? You don't have a heart at all. Qingya ordered coldly. Hold him down and make him kneel and apologize to Wuyan. Someone immediately pressed my head down and slammed it hard against the floor. Once, twice, 3 times. My forehead swelled red, with blood seeping through in spots. They still did not stop. In the end, it was Wuyan who spoke up. Qingya, I'm fine now. Just let him go. Qingya looked at Wuyan. Wuyan, he's vicious and malicious. He even dared to lay a hand on you. You do not need to feel sorry for him. But Gu Wuyan looked at Qingya and said, I'm not feeling sorry for him. I want you to forgive yourself. Qingya, it's been 3 years. You should let him go. Qingya said at once. Wuyan, do not read too much into it. I stopped loving him long ago. Now, I just want revenge on this heartless bastard. Gu Wuyan looked at her stubbornly and asked, is that really true? Qingya looked at him. She was about to say something, but swallowed it back. Gu Wuyan took a deep breath. He seemed like he wanted to say something, but all he did was sigh. Qingya turned to look at me, bloodied and beaten. A flicker of pity passed through her eyes. She ordered, get a doctor to bandage him up. Dr. Liu, who had been pulled over at random, saw me on the floor. He said in surprise, Mr. Mo, what are you doing here? Qingya frowned and looked over. You know him. My heart lurched. Dr. Liu knew the truth about that heart transplant. He had warned me before, saying Wu Li was a complete madman in medicine. He had even turned his own son into a vegetative state. If you become a human drug trial subject at his research institute, that would be no different from trading one life for another. But I insisted, even if it meant trading my life, I would save Qingya. If she asked too closely, then what happened back then would not stay hidden. So I spoke first. Back then, Miss Liu and I were a little too reckless, and I accidentally ended up in the hospital in the middle of the night. Dr. Liu was the one on emergency duty that night. Hearing that, Qingya's face darkened to something frightening. Mu Chen, you really are disgusting. Disinfect this room and everyone in it immediately. After giving the order, she took Gu Wuyan and walked out. I caught the hem of Dr. Liu's coat with my fingers and begged, Dr. Liu, please don't tell Qingya the truth about what happened back then. Dr. Liu looked at me, miserable and covered in bruises. He asked, you saved her and spent 3 years being tortured in that lab. Now, you do not have long left to live, and she still misunderstands you. Was it really worth it? A faint, bloodless smile touched my lips. My gaze was as resolute as it had been back then. It is worth it. Soon, a group of nurses in protective suits came in carrying disinfectant. They sprayed me and the room heavily with disinfectant. The thick fumes made me cough until tears streamed down my face. Dr. Liu let out a long sigh. He handed me a tissue. Then he disinfected and bandaged my injured forehead. Over the next few days, Qingya did not do anything strange to me after that. She just tormented me as if I were her servant. She made me hold a basin for her while she washed her feet, then kicked it over. She made me kneel on the floor and wiped the water clean. The meal I had worked so hard to make. She dumped the dish in front of me and fed it to the dog. Someone as filthy as you. Anything you make is fit only for animals. She took Gu Wuyan shopping at luxury stores. She spent over 10 million yuan buying out every watch in the store. Then she made me walk them all back to the villa. I kept running back and forth for a full day and night, until I was so exhausted I fainted in the street. When I woke up in the hospital again, Dr. Liu told me that because I had overtaxed my body these past few days, my body could no longer hold on. I had at most 1 week left. When I heard that, I actually only felt relief. At last, I would not have to drag this half-dead body through life or smother my longing for Qingya anymore. Only, before the first died, there was one more thing I had to do. Just then, Qingya called. Mu Chen, it was just a faint from anemia. How much longer are you going to slack off in the hospital? She snapped. Get to Romantic Bridal Boutique now and help Wuyan get changed. I got out of bed and rushed to the bridal shop because my face was so pale that it looked frightening. I even asked a nurse to put a light layer of makeup on me to cover it. By the time I arrived at the bridal shop, Qingya and Gu Wuyan had already changed into the wedding gown and suit. They came out of the fitting room. The entire gown was centered on a pale lavender theme, perfectly accentuating Qingya's beautiful figure. The shop assistants nearby said with open envy, this wedding dress is absolutely stunning. I heard President Lin designed it herself. Even the lavender on the dress had been copied exactly from Provence. I froze in place, dazed. My eyes could not help but grow damp. I had once designed this wedding dress for Qingya. She had actually made it. But now that she was wearing it, the man she wanted to marry was no longer me. Qingya lovingly tittied Gu Wuyan's hair. When her gaze fell on me, the warmth in her eyes vanished. You look so healthy. And you still claim it was anemia. So, you really did team up with the doctor to make that up. I raised a hand and wiped the tears from the corners of my eyes. I forced out a smile uglier than crying. You saw right through me. I was hoping to use this chance to rest a few more days. Qingya let out a cold laugh. Mu Chen, I paid 100,000 yuan to hire you for a month. Not to let you come here and live comfortably. Hurry up and put Gu Wuyan's shoes on for him. I walked over, picked up the pointed leather shoes from the rack, and placed them by Gu Wuyan's feet. Gu Wuyan lifted his foot and slid it into the shoe, then stepped hard on the back of my hand. I let out a pain scream. Gu Wuyan slowly lifted his foot. He said casually, "Sorry, I mistook it. I did not see where I was stepping." Qingya glanced at the blue-purple bruise on the back of my hand. She said coldly, "He's just a servant. So, what if you stepped on him? There is no need for you to apologize." She walked over and slipped her arm through Gu Wuyan's. Gu Wuyan looked at her. His eyes were full of naked love. The shop assistant tactfully came over to help Qingya straighten her skirt. My heart was full of bitterness. I was shoved aside by a few people. I left the room in a daze. But after only a few steps, my arm was grabbed from behind. Qingya dragged me into the lounge next door. She stepped in front of me and blocked my path. "Mu Chen, if you had not cheated back then everything today would have been yours. You must really regret it now." "Regret? If I had not agreed to become a human drug trial subject back then, I would never have survived those 3 years of darkness, and I would never have ended up on the brink of death. But when I looked at Qingya standing alive in front of me, I felt that everything was worth it." I lifted my eyes to meet her gaze, and said with steady certainty, "No, I do not regret it." "Why?" Qingya gripped my shoulders and roared, "You abandoned me back then for money. Now I have money and power. So, why don't you regret it?" I pushed her away, and I shoved down the endless love in my heart, speaking in a cold voice. "There is no why. I never regret anything I have done." After saying that, I took a bank card from my bag and held it out to her. "There is 64,000 yuan left in here. I am giving it back to you. From now on, I am no longer your servant. Qingya, our relationship is over." For a moment, Qingya seemed to go back 2-3 years ago. I had my arm around Qingya, standing before her, and said just as coldly and ruthlessly, "Qingya, I do not love you anymore. From today on, our relationship ends here." Seeing that Qingya said nothing, I directly shoved the card into her hand. Then I turned and left. I was afraid that if I stayed any longer, the feelings in my heart would no longer stay buried. Just as my hand closed around the doorknob, Qingya rushed up from behind, wrapped both arms around my waist, and pinned me against the wall. "Mu Chen, do you think I am still that foolish Qingya from 3 years ago? You think you can leave whenever you want, and dump me whenever you want?" Watching Qingya's face draw closer and closer, I panicked completely. Before I could finish speaking, Qingya had already lifted her head and kissed me hard. I struggled fiercely, but she only kissed me harder. My lips were bitten until they broke. The taste of blood spread between our mouths. The door was suddenly pushed open. Gu Wuyan stood at the doorway in a groom's suit. His eyes widened, staring in disbelief at the two of us inside. Qingya finally came back to her senses. She let me go, then turned to look at Gu Wuyan. Gu Wuyan seemed dazed for a moment, just as he was about to say something. Qingya cut him off with a gesture. The next second, Gu Wuyan stumbled back several steps, then turned and ran outside. Qingya immediately chased after him. It felt as if all the strength had been drained from me. Without Qingya's support, I slid down the wall and fell to the floor. I raised a hand to cover my cheek, but tears still slipped through my fingers. I could feel that Qingya still loved me, but I could not answer that love. I was about to die. Why would heaven torment Qingya and me like this? Wuyan ran out of the store, but there was no real pain on his face, only confusion. "Wuyan, I never wanted things to end up like this. But from the moment Mu Chen appeared before me, my heart was no longer under my control. I hate him, but I love him even more. If we keep doing this in front of him, forget it. Let us leave it at that for now. Qingya, why are you doing this to yourself? Mu Chen does not deserve your love. He walked away when you were most helpless, when you needed him the most. Qingya, why can't you think about yourself more? Would it not be better to let him go? Could you not look at me instead?" But I have loved Mu Chen for 18 years. Ever since I was 7 and first met him at the orphanage. Ever since he handed me a piece of candy when I was secretly crying in the middle of the night. His shadow has lived in my heart. Even if he once abandoned me, I have never forgotten him. I know you have been the one taking care of me, going along with my act, but I only see you as my best friend. Qingya, wake up and think clearly. Chen does not love you at all. He only wants your money. I do not want to watch you keep going on like this. Qingya's eyes shone with a reckless, unyielding courage born of love. Even if he is after my money, I accept it. I would only be glad that I have money now, so I can finally give Chen everything he wants. Qingya brought Wuyan back to the bridal shop. Just as she was about to confess her feelings to me, I spoke first. President Lin, I had a fight with Liu Qinghan before, so I came back to find you. Just now, Liu Qinghan called to make up with me. She even booked a flight back to M country for me. I have already decided to go back. I will not be attending your wedding to Mr. Gu. I will not be there. So here, I wish you a lifetime of happiness and children soon. Wishing you a lifetime of happiness. At that moment, Qingya was furious, yet she looked unnaturally calm. Chen, all this time, what exactly have I been to you? I forced down the pain in my chest and gave a mocking smile. Do you really need me to spell it out, President Lin? You have to say it. Of course you were the backup option. When I had broken up with Liu Qinghan before, I wanted to come back and cling to you as my big safety net. Now, Liu Qinghan has come back to make up with me. So of course I will choose the woman I actually like. It is not that President Lin is bad. It is just that I think you are too conservative. I still prefer someone like Liu Qinghan, someone a little wilder, who can actually keep up with me. Qingya raised her hand and slapped me hard across the face. Chen, you are trash to the core. I covered my cheek and said in a choked voice. Yes, I am disgusting. On that point, you should have known that 3 years ago. President Lin. After saying that, I turned to leave. Qingya raised a hand and blocked my way. Chen, give me back my Seashell bracelet. From now on, I hope to never see you again. I stopped in my tracks. I took off the Seashell bracelet from my wrist, the one I had crushed, and then repaired. Qingya froze for a split second when she saw the repair bracelet, but she still took it. Right in front of me, she crushed the seashells to pieces again. I heard the sound of my own heart breaking. I asked softly, "Can I leave now?" Qingya said coldly, "I also have something to return to you. Take it. From this moment on, whether you live or die, has nothing to do with me anymore." Fine. I'll wait. That was the one thing I wanted after I died. Qingya would still be healthy, happy, and at peace. What happened next came without warning. Only later did I learn that what Qingya had wanted to give me before the car crash was actually something she had prepared long ago. A limited edition wedding ring set, the only pair in the world. By then, I was already standing in the hospital corridor, watching Qingya being wheeled into the operating room. Her face was white as paper. Her breathing was so faint it was almost impossible to see. After emergency treatment, the patient was out of danger. Dr. Liu said to Wuyan, but her eyes took a hard blow, and her corneas were badly damaged. She will be blind when she wakes up. My heart clenched at those words. Qingya cannot go blind. Absolutely not. I'll donate. I rushed up to Dr. Liu. I'm willing to donate my corneas. Please do the surgery now. Dr. Liu frowned. Mr. Mu, corneas cannot be donated from a living person. You know that. I do not have many days left anyway, I said urgently. Dr. Liu's expression turned grave. Even if you are dying, the hospital has never taken corneas from a living person. Legally and morally, it is not allowed. I snatched a sharp scalpel from the tray beside me and held it to my own throat. If I have to die before I can donate, then I'll die right here in front of you. In the end, after discussion, the hospital agreed to do the surgery once I signed the liability waiver. I let out a breath. Then I turned to Wuyan. Please do not tell Qingya that I donated the corneas. Wuyan looked completely confused. What on earth is going on? How could you be dying? I gave a faint smile. Mr. Gu, from now on, please take good care of Qingya. After that, I walked into the operating room without looking back. Inside the operating room, Qingya and I lay onto adjacent beds. I reached out and took her hand. Our fingers laced together. I called out the name I had kept buried in my heart. Qingya, I am so glad I can do one last thing for you before I die. Tears slipped from the corners of my eyes. Qingya, I love you. As the anesthetic flowed into my body, I closed my eyes. My fingers finally went limp and fell away. I did not know what Qingya would be like when she woke up. I did not know whether she would ever discover the truth, but I knew this was the last thing I could do for her. I seemed to see that summer from long ago again. At the orphanage, I saw her for the first time. She was wearing a white dress, standing in the sunlight and smiling so brightly. That was when I knew I would spend my whole life protecting that smile. Now, I had finally done it. My consciousness began to blur. I could faintly hear the beeping of machines. I knew my time was up. Goodbye, my Qingya. Who is it? Qingya pressed immediately. Who donated corneas to me? For confidentiality reasons, we cannot disclose any information about the donor. After saying that, the doctor on rounds turned and left. Qingya threw back the blanket and tried to get out of bed. Wuyan quickly stopped her. Qingya, what are you doing? If they will not tell me, then I'll look into it myself. Qingya was utterly panicked. She was afraid the words she had heard in her dream were true. I know. Wuyan soothed Qingya. I know who it was. It was someone who died of cardiogenic shock. For policy reasons, the hospital cannot reveal the donor's information. When the surgery was just being done, I saw it. I also had my assistant take some money to compensate her family. Qingya finally relaxed and lay back down on the hospital bed. She said with a hint of self-mockery, Wuyan, do you know? I just had a very long dream in the operating room. In the dream, it was all Chen. I even dreamed that he was the one who donated his corneas to me. That sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? If this had been before, Wuyan would have done everything he could to drag Chen through the mud. But now he could not say a word, because it really had been Chen who donated his corneas to her. He tightened his grip on Qingya's hand. Qingya, forget Chen. Take those memories from the past and treat them like a brilliant, beautiful, deeply painful dream. Qingya closed her eyes for a long time before slowly nodding. She really should look ahead now. Chen, from now on, I will completely erase you from my memory. A week later, Qingya was discharged from the hospital. After thinking it over, since she had let go of Chen, it was time to worry about her own lifelong happiness. So, she truly accepted Wuyan. She began preparing for her wedding to Wuyan. News of the wedding spread everywhere across the internet. The closer the wedding date got, the heavier Qingya felt inside. In her mind, she even had countless thoughts of running away from the wedding and going to country to find Chen. But every time that thought barely surfaced, Qingya would forcefully crush it. She told herself it was Wuyan who saved her life, and it was Wuyan who stayed with her through the darkest and lowest moments of her life. She could not betray Wuyan. Gradually, she learned to numb herself with alcohol. Only then could she avoid the pain. After getting drunk again, Qingya clutched her head and wept in pain. I love you so much. So why are you being so cruel to me? I can forgive you for abandoning me back then. I can also stop caring about everything between you and Qingya. Qingya's voice turned pleading. Chen, come back to my side. I made the wedding dress you designed. That day, you saw it, didn't you? Wasn't it just like you once described? When I designed that dress, I imagined countless times what it would be like to wear it and marry you. Chen, now I have money. And I have power. I can make every dream you ever wanted come true. Why? Why did you still choose Qingya instead of me? Why? Why? With drunken, blurred eyes, Qingya kept grabbing Wuyan's hand and demanding answers from him. At that moment, Wuyan was not feeling great either, even though he had only been taking care of Qingya as a friend before. And even back then, he had been the one who most wanted Chen and Qingya to stay together forever. But at this very moment, he had still developed feelings for Qingya. He had always known that Qingya deeply loved Chen. Even if she hid it well during the day, he knew she had never once forgotten Chen in her heart. After sending Qingya home, Wuyan left the villa. He looked up at the dark, heavy sky. He remembered what Chen had said that day. They say that after people die, they become stars in the sky. Chen, have you become a star too? Chen, what kind of person were you, really? He used to think Chen was a freeloader. Wuyan vaguely sensed that all along, they had been the ones misunderstanding Chen. There might have been an unseen truth hidden behind it all. But now, he felt there was no need to dig any deeper, because Chen was already dead. The dead cannot return to life. For them, the truth, it might still trouble them. With the wedding as his deadline, Wuyan set a deadline for himself in his heart. If Qingya could truly take his hand and walk into the wedding hall, Then he would love her at all cost, cherish her, and spend the rest of his life warming her heart. That would count as fulfilling Mu Chen's request. If the two of them never ended up getting married, it would only mean they were meant to meet, but not meant to be. Then he would let go. He would tell Qingya about Mu Chen donating his corneas. 3 days before the wedding, relatives from both families gathered together. They were preparing everything for the wedding day. Qingya lost both her parents as a child and was sent to an orphanage. She had very few relatives she kept in contact with. The Gu family was a large, prominent family. Many relatives from overseas had come back for the wedding. Gu Wuyan's paternal cousin had specially returned from abroad and even brought his girlfriend with him. Sister-in-law. This is my girlfriend, Liu Qinghan. After Liu Qinghan was introduced, the room fell silent for a moment. Qingya's gaze locked tightly onto Liu Qinghan. You are his girlfriend? Then what about Mu Chen? Liu Qinghan felt as if a cold, venomous snake had fixed its eyes on her, and she also recognized Qingya. She could not help but sighed how small the world was. Back then, at Mu Chen's request, she had acted out a scene of cheating right in front of Qingya. And now, she had somehow become Qingya's enemy. Thinking back to what happened that year, she felt a little awkward too. She laughed it off and said, Mu Chen, that was ages ago. He and I broke up a long time ago. Shen Yifei is my true love. But before she even finished, Qingya slapped her across the face. You just drove Mu Chen away. And now you say he's your true love. Today I'm going to teach you a lesson. You cheating woman. Liu Qinghan was stunned by the sudden slap, but she was not one to be pushed around. Once she recovered, she immediately slapped back. Stop spouting nonsense and slandering me. I am sincere toward Shen Yifei. Since when have I been too timing? Shen Yifei and Gu Wuyan hurried over to break them up. Qingya grabbed her by the collar and asked coldly, You keep saying you were sincere with him. Then, where does that leave Mu Chen? If you did not love him, why did you take him away from my side back then? Why did you take him abroad? Seeing that Qingya's words were reasonable and well-founded, Shen Yifei could not help but look at Liu Qinghan too. Did you really do something to betray me? Liu Qinghan wrenched free from Qingya's grip and said anxiously, Shen Yifei, my sincerity toward you, do you still need to doubt it? Shen Yifei still looked doubtful. Then what is she talking about? At this point, Liu Qinghan could not care about anything else. She directly told the truth about what happened back then. What happened that year was just a scene Mu Chen asked me to act out. Qingya froze on the spot after hearing that. What? Back then, Mu Chen said, he wanted to leave you for a while, but he was afraid you would cling to him. So he asked me to act out an affair scene with him, to get away from you. He and I did nothing back then. As for what you said about me taking him to M country, that was also just an excuse he used to get away from you. Shen Yifei also said, I've been with Liu Qinghan in M country for 3 years. I have never seen any other man around her. After processing Liu Qinghan's words, Qingya asked again, still unsure. You mean, the thing about Mu Chen cheating on me with you back then was fake, and him going to M country with you was fake too? Liu Qinghan nodded firmly. That's right. After getting Liu Qinghan's confirmation, Qingya immediately turned and headed outside. Since what happened back then was fake, then what Mu Chen said last time about making up with Liu Qinghan and going back to M country must have been fake too. Where exactly had he been for the past 3 years? Why did he lie to me? Qingya now had too many questions in her head. Only finding Mu Chen could answer them. But just as she stepped out of the hotel, Gu Wuyan caught up to her. Qingya, are you going to look for Mu Chen? Facing Gu Wuyan, Qingya felt deeply guilty. Wuyan, I'm looking for him, just to get to the bottom of what happened back then. I want to know why he lied to me. Gu Wuyan asked earnestly, and after you get your answer, will you still marry me? Qingya's lips parted, but she still could not bring herself to give a definite answer. Wuyan, I can't think about anything right now. All I want is to find Mu Chen as soon as possible. A bitter smile touched Gu Wuyan's lips. I think I've already got my answer, since it had come to this. Qingya no longer hid it. She said directly, I'm sorry. I will come in person later to the Gu family and apologize to your parents. After that, she took out her phone and called her assistant, telling them to look into Mu Chen's whereabouts. Gu Wuyan said heavily, Qingya, there is no need to look. I know where Mu Chen is. Joy surged through Qingya's heart. She did not even have time to wonder why. Gu Wuyan would know Mu Chen's whereabouts. She asked anxiously. Where? Where is Mu Chen? Gu Wuyan took a deep breath and said slowly. Mu Chen was already dead. Ling Qingya's face darkened at once. Wuyan, the one who wronged you is me. Why are you cursing Mu Chen? Gu Wuyan shook his head and said what he believed was the cruel truth. I'm not cursing him. He really is dead. Your corneas were donated by him. I saw him sign the liability waiver with my own eyes, and I heard him say that from that moment. He had less than a week left to live. Ling Qingya swayed on her feet, almost falling to the ground. Impossible, impossible. You're lying to me. Mu Chen can't be dead. He can't. She dimly remembered the dream she had that day in the operating room. The doctor's words kept replaying in her mind over and over. The corneal transplant was a success. Donor Mu Chen is dead. The corneal transplant was successful. Donor Mu Chen is dead. Ling Qingya raised a hand and clutched her head in agony. So that dream that day was real. The next second, a mouthful of blood burst from Ling Qingya's mouth. She collapsed to the ground. Over and over, she murmured the same sentence. I killed Mu Chen. I killed Mu Chen. Gu Wuyan immediately called an ambulance. He got Ling Qingya to the hospital. After emergency treatment, Ling Qingya was out of danger. But lying on the hospital bed, she looked as if all the life had been drained from her. There was not a trace of energy left in her. Gu Wuyan's eyes were red, and he sat beside Ling Qingya, holding her hand as he said, Qingya, pull yourself together. Mu Chen wasn't killed by you. He was already dying. Those words finally drew a reaction from Ling Qingya. She lifted her eyes to look at Gu Wuyan. What do you mean? He was already doomed to die soon. Gu Wuyan said, his voice choking up. That day, Mu Chen rushed to the hospital. He said he wanted to donate his corneas to you. At first, Dr. Liu refused on the grounds that a living person could not donate. But he took out a scalpel and held it to his own throat, saying he was going to die anyway. If only a dead person could donate, then he would die right now. Later, the hospital had him sign a liability waiver before agreeing to perform the donation surgery for you. During your surgery, I heard the nurses say someone had just died from cardiogenic shock. I also saw people from the funeral services center come to take away his body. So, Qingya, Mu Chen wasn't killed by you. Ling Qingya froze after hearing that. From Mu Chen's cheating incident 3 years ago to their reunion 3 years later, everything kept flashing through Ling Qingya's mind. She kept feeling that the answer she wanted was right in front of her, but she still could not see it clearly. Thinking of that, Ling Qingya no longer had the strength to keep herself upright. She collapsed again. Before closing her eyes, she seemed to see Mu Chen slowly walking toward her again. Mu Chen, is that you? The first thing Ling Qingya did after waking up was have someone bring Dr. Liu to her. Soon, Dr. Liu was brought before Ling Qingya. She fixed him with a sharp stare. Her voice was weak, but it carried unmistakable authority. I want to know everything about Mu Chen. Dr. Liu put on a look of feigned confusion. I don't know anything about Mr. Mu. Perhaps you've mistaken me for someone else, Miss Lin. Ling Qingya gripped the back of her hand tightly, her nails digging into her flesh. She said each word clearly. What if I insist on knowing? Dr. Liu let out a soft sigh. Very well. Mr. Mu loved you so much. You should know the depth of his love, instead of letting it be buried with him forever. 3 years ago, when you suddenly suffered heart failure, the boy whose heart was donated to you was in a vegetative state. Do you know who his father was? Ling Qingya nodded. I remember his father was the head of a DRUG research laboratory. Dr. Liu's voice was grave. He was a pharmaceutical fanatic. His lifelong wish was to develop a miracle drug to treat ALS. When he first set up the research institute, because he lacked funding and staff, he didn't hesitate to use his own son as a human drug trial subject, which left his own son in a vegetative state. 3 years ago, you urgently needed his son's heart to save your life with a heart transplant. He seized on that fact, so he made Mr. Mu an offer in exchange. Ling Qingya's pupils quivered as her voice trembled. What condition? He demanded. That Mr. Mu voluntarily become his human drug trial subject. Mr. Mu spent 3 years as a living human test subject. Those unknown drugs had long since destroyed Mr. Mu's health, because his body had been ravaged by the drugs. Multiple organ failure meant he could no longer continue as a human drug trial subject. So, Wu Li finally let him out of the lab. After hearing the whole story, Gu Wuyan, standing by the side, was stunned as well. He had never imagined the truth was like this. Mu Chen's love for Qingya ran so deep that he was willing to trade his life for hers. For a moment, it was as if an invisible hand had clamped tightly around Qingya's heart. The pain crushed her lungs, making it impossible to breathe. Her eyes turned bloodshot. She looked like a demon from hell, every word dripping with blood and tears. Wu Li, I swear you'll pay for this in blood. After Wu Li received the invitation from Lin Technologies, he immediately brought the contract and came to the meeting. To his surprise, Lin Technologies was actually going to sponsor him with 10 billion yuan for drug research. Wu Li was overjoyed. With this 10 billion yuan, he was certain it would be enough to support his research for a miracle drug to treat ALS. This meeting was not held at Lin Technologies as usual, but at Qingya's home, and she had invited only him. At this point, Wu Li was all ready to swept up in joy to think straight, and quickly brushed aside that small, suspicious detail. Qingya personally received Wu Li, which made him feel flattered and a little overwhelmed. She lifted the wine glass before her and gave Wu Li a small toast. In a calm voice, she said, Dean Wu, please, don't be shy. Treat this place like your own home. Wu Li hurriedly raised the glass in his hand. President Lin, you are truly generous and righteous. Thank you for donating to our institute. I toast to you. Watching him drain the glass in one go, Qingya let a faint smile touch her face. She said, generous. If not for Dean Wu donating your son's heart back then, and generously giving it to me, how could I be who I am today? Wu Li laughed and said, oh, not at all. A doctor's heart is all about compassion. I count as someone in the medical field too. So of course, I couldn't just stand by and watch someone die. Qingya slammed the glass in her hand to the floor. So that's your idea of a doctor's compassion. Tell me, Dean Wu is using a healthy living person for drug experimentation. What you call compassion? Wu Li was startled by Qingya's sudden move. At last, he sensed something was wrong and stood up. President Lin, I don't know what you're talking about. It looks like there's no point discussing the contract today. I'll leave first. With that, he immediately turned and left. Only when he reached the door did he realize it had already been locked shut. At the same time, it felt as if all the strength had been drained from his limbs. He could barely stand. Qingya rose at a leisurely pace, a sharp scalpel in her hand, toying with it as she walked toward Wu Li. Wu Li pressed his back against the wall, terror filling his eyes. President Lin, let's talk this through. Maybe there's some misunderstanding? Qingya clapped her hands. Right in front of the wall, a huge portrait of Mu Chen dropped down. Wu Li, back then, you agreed to let your son donate his heart to me. Do you still remember that? Mu Chen spent a full 3 years in your research institute, being tortured by you. And now, you tell me it was a misunderstanding. Looking at Mu Chen's portrait, Wu Li was struck by memories of what had happened back then. At the time, the institute was short on funds, and even more short on human drug trial subjects, with no clinical data, so the experiments could never move forward. Then this boy came to him by chance. He knelt before him, begging him to donate the heart of his vegetative son to the woman he loved. He said he was willing to serve him for life and repay him for the rest of his days. Wu Li then proposed that he go to the institute as a human drug trial subject. Until a while ago, because of the long-term drug trials, his body had suffered severe failure in every function. He could no longer bear the work of test subject. Only then did Wu Li approve his release from the institute. A sinister smile spread across Qingya's face. She stepped in front of Wu Li. She raised her hand and brought the blade down, but it didn't stab into Wu Li's body. Instead, it slammed into the wooden board behind him, less than an inch from his temple. Wu Li let out a terrified shriek. The drug in the wine had already left him limp on the floor. He looked up at Qingya and pleaded, President Lin. Back then, he volunteered to become a human drug trial subject. I never forced him. Qingya gripped the knife handle, her eyes growing increasingly wild. He volunteered, but I was not willing. I would rather die myself than let him save me like that. Cold sweat broke out all over Wu Li. President Lin, spare me, spare me. Qingya yanked the knife out of the wall. I spared your life, but did you spare Mu Chen? A healthy man was tortured by you until his body failed and he died. Today, in making you pay for his life, Wu Li kept begging Qingya for mercy. President Lin, I really had no idea he meant so much to you. Otherwise, even if I had 10 times the courage, I still would not have dared use him in drug trials. You have a successful career now, and a perfect man by your side. There is no need to ruin your future. For a lowlife like me. Qingya's gaze fell on him, cold and emotionless. Today, nothing you say will save you from death. Qingya lifted the knife, aiming at Wu Li's heart, ready to strike. At the last possible second, the door was suddenly pushed open from outside. Qingya looked up and saw Mu Chen. Mu Chen, is it you? But, the next second, his face shifted back into Gu Wuyan's. After Gu Wuyan took in everything in the room, he immediately reached out and seized Qingya's wrist. The knife tip froze at Wu Li's chest. He said urgently, Qingya, look carefully. It's me. Don't do anything rash. Wu Li illegally used living people for drug research. The law will see that he is punished. If you kill him now, then you become a murderer. Please, do not do something so foolish. After Qingya realized it had only been an illusion, she shook off Gu Wuyan's hand. Her eyes were utterly lifeless. Wuyan, tell me, what counts as a foolish act? Mu Chen became a human drug trial subject to save me. But he did not dare let me know. He would rather fake an affair and make me misunderstand him, hate him. Tell me, wasn't that foolish? He knew he did not have long to live, yet he still chose to donate his corneas to me. In the end, he died on the operating table. Tell me, was that not foolish? He loved me so much, gave me everything, and I did not even know he was dead. Tell me, was he not foolish? He was foolish for me so many times. So, what if I'm foolish for him once? Gu Wuyan shook his head, tears streaming down his face. Qingya, Mr. Mu did so much for you, because he wanted you to live well. Do not let him down. Qingya said coldly, if he is alive, then I am willing to live. With that, Qingya brought the blade down in one swift motion. Gu Wuyan shouted, Qingya, do you want to go to hell after you die, and be separated from Mr. Mu for all eternity? The blade missed by a fraction. It pierced Wu Li's shoulder instead. Qingya hesitated. She looked at Gu Wuyan. Really? Will there be a next life? This life was already destined to be full of regrets for her. Mu Chen was dead. She could never be with Mu Chen again. She wanted a future life with Mu Chen. Seeing this, Gu Wuyan took a deep breath. He said, there definitely is. And Mr. Mu was such a kind man. He will surely go to heaven after death. If your hands are stained with blood, you will certainly go to hell. How could you ever find him then? He reached out and snatched the scalpel from Qingya's hand. He said slowly, Wu Li ruined Mr. Mu so badly. He should be left alive, barely clinging to life, suffering day after day, not given such a clean, painless death. Qingya glanced at the man lying on the floor, already unconscious. Wu Li. She called over the bodyguards, cut out his tongue, sent him to the hospital, then locked him up. Just keep him alive. Mu Chen had suffered 3 years of torment, and she was going to make Wu Li pay it back 100-fold, 1,000-fold. After that, Qingya led people to smash Wu Li's drug research institute. Through the footage, she finally saw for herself what Mu Chen had endured over those 3 years, and what kind of life he had lived here. When he first came in, Mu Chen was still the smiling boy she remembered. But the researchers here never treated him like a person. They treated him like nothing more than a research specimen. They drew his blood, forced him to take drugs, and ran test after test. Day after day, he took the drugs and provided data. No one cared about the pain the drugs caused him. As the drugs wore his body down, Mu Chen's complexion grew worse by the day. His spirit faded more and more each day. By the end of the footage, Mu Chen's body had already deteriorated to the point where it could no longer withstand the drug's assault. He writhed in agony, yet still kept crying out her name. Qingya, I miss you so much. Qingya could not help reaching out to touch the screen, and the tiny figure on it. How badly she wanted to smooth the furrow from his brow, and bear that pain for him instead. Tears of agony streamed down Qingya's cheeks. She hated herself with every fiber of her being. Why? Why had she not noticed it when Mu Chen came to find her? That something was wrong with him. Back then, all she cared about was her anger and hatred. She humiliated and tormented Mu Chen again and again, trying to make him give in to her, trying to hear words of regret from his mouth, trying to find what little love still remained in him. But every time, she was disappointed. She hated Mu Chen, hated how heartless he seemed, hated that Mu Chen had thrown away their years together. But now, Qingya understood. Mu Chen did not stop loving her. He loved her too much. That was why he used those cruel words to hide the love he still held for her deep inside. Qingya found the room I had lived in at the institute. It was a tiny room with only enough space for one bed. There was not even a window. It was cramped, gray, and oppressive, and I had spent 3 years here. She curled up on that little bed, as if she could still feel my body heat that way, and feel my blazing, unspoken love. In 8 days, the scene of me confessing to her rose before her eyes once more. Back then, we had just turned 18. By policy, we could no longer live in the orphanage. We had lived there for more than 10 years. Our belongings were pitifully few. I carried my bags, glancing back at the orphanage every few steps, and said, Qingya, I've lived in the orphanage since the day I was born. This is my home. Now, I keep feeling like I've been abandoned all over again. It hurts so much. Qingya hesitated for a few seconds, then lifted a hand and held mine. You still have me. I'm family too. I'll never abandon you. I shook her hand away and said sourly, if you ever get a boyfriend, you'll definitely forget all about me. Last time, I even saw that campus heartthrob confess to you. Qingya took my hand again. Didn't I turn him down? I turned away and ignored her. Even if you reject this campus heartthrob, there'll just be some other Zhang heartthrob, or Liu heartthrob, and one day you'll say yes. At that time, I had just turned 18, right at the age when your heart first starts to stir, and I had already fallen hopelessly for Qingya. But all along, she had only shown me the care of family. I didn't know what she really felt about me. I didn't dare ask, and I was afraid she would really be taken away by someone else someday. After Qingya understood what I meant, she said with a smile, I do have a foolproof solution. That way, even if I get a boyfriend later, I still won't abandon you. It can make sure that even if I have a boyfriend later, I still won't abandon you. She hugged me outright. Chen, you just need to confess to me. I'll say yes right away. That way, we can take our family bond one step further. How about we both end up on the same household registration booklet? That one line left me stunned. In the end, I blushed and confessed. She happily buried herself in my arms and nodded. Later, after we finally admitted our feelings, we realized we had already become the person the other had chosen. Qingya teased me, saying she had once been afraid of scaring me, so she had planned to wait until we were in college before saying anything. But then, she had not expected someone to be even more impatient than her. If she had waited any longer, it would have truly been too late. Our first kiss was in college, beside the Swan Lake on campus. It was Christmas that day. We had just gotten back from our part-time jobs outside, and it was nearly midnight. I was sending her back to the girls' dorm. As we passed Swan Lake, I took a little handmade apple I had whereupon myself from my bag and gave it to her. Qingya accepted it with a smile. But I was not satisfied. Today is Christmas. You didn't even prepare a gift for me. Qingya was so busy every day she barely had time to breathe. So of course she had not really thought about holiday surprises. But she didn't want to let me down. So she said, wait half an hour. I'll be right back. With that, she was about to run out and buy me a gift. But I grabbed her. No need. I already have the gift I want. I lowered my head and slowly moved closer to her. Qingya still remembers it clearly to this day. The way I looked that night and my flushed cheeks. No one knew how much time passed. Then Qingya's phone rang, snapping her out of her memories. Her assistant's excited voice came through the line. President Lin, we found it. Where were Chen's ashes buried? After hearing of my death, Qingya immediately sent people to the funeral services center to find out where my ashes had been taken. But the people at the funeral center said the deceased had signed a confidentiality agreement while alive. They would not reveal his information to anyone. Only after Qingya used a few tactics did she learn that, while I was alive, I had arranged through the funeral services center for a lavender flower burial in Provence. But the exact location was still unknown. So she sent her assistant to Provence to track down the exact whereabouts of my ashes, while she stayed behind to avenge me herself. Now, having found my ashes, she could finally be with me for good. Chen, I only hope you walk a little slower. Wait for me. President Lin, it's not ashes. Mr. Mu is not dead. He is in Aix-en-Provence. Half an hour later, a private jet took off from Jing City, bound for Aix-en-Provence in Provence. Mr. Mu, why didn't you call me when you came out? What if you fell? A faint curve touched the corner of my mouth. My unfocused eyes stared ahead. I woke up and wanted to come out and smell the flowers. These past few days, I've already gotten familiar with this place. I won't fall that easily. Back in the operating room, I was declared dead by the doctors because of cardiac arrest. But when the staff at the funeral services center took my body and were about to cremate me, my heart unexpectedly began beating again, slowly. I had narrowly escaped death, but I felt no joy at all, because I knew death would still be my final destination. I didn't know why heaven wanted me to live a few extra days. I directly asked the funeral services center's cremation staff to take me to Provence. I would wait here in silence for my death. As soon as I finished speaking, my legs gave out and I fell to the ground. Li Qingya quickly helped me up and sat me on a nearby chair. Mr. Mo, you're weak, so you'd better sit. I fumbled for a bank card in my pocket and groped my way to placing it in Li Qingyu's hand. Qingyu, thank you for taking care of me these past few days. I have a feeling my time is up within the next 2 days. There are still tens of thousands of yuan on this card. Take it as payment for your trouble. Li Qingyu hurriedly waved his hands. After realizing I couldn't see, he pushed the card back into my hand. No need, Mr. Mo. Taking care of you was already my job. Besides, I feel like you and I really get along. Looking after you is something I do willingly. I put the card back into Li Qingyu's hands again. I'm an orphan, and I'm about to die again. I won't have any use for this money. If you don't want it, then I have a favor to ask. After I die, and my body is brought back to my hometown, could you donate this money to the orphanage? After I said that, Li Qingyu had no choice but to take the money. He said solemnly, Mr. Mo, don't worry. I will definitely pass on your kindness to the children at the orphanage. I smiled. Thank you, Qingyu. Li Qingyu sat down beside me and leaned over to ask, Mr. Mo, do you believe people really go to heaven after they die? I said softly, when I was little, I always heard the mothers at the orphanage tell us, if you never did evil in life, then a pure soul would go to heaven after death. Li Qingyu said with certainty, someone as kind as you, Mr. Mo, will surely go to heaven after death. There was a trace of longing in my voice. I heard, heaven is a place without sorrow, a world without pain, where there is only eternal happiness. But would a world without Qingya really be happy? I don't know. I grew up in the orphanage. The children there always wore the same hairstyle, the same clothes, with fixed activity hours every day, and fixed meals. Life there carried a lifeless, drab feeling. Until I was 7. When Qingya came to the orphanage, she wore a red dress, with pretty little curls, different from everyone else in every way. She caught my eye at once. That night, I found Qingya hiding alone under the blanket, crying in secret. I pulled back her blanket and asked her why she was crying. Children who grew up in an orphanage were far too mature for their age. They learned not to cry from a very young age, because they knew that crying was the most useless thing of all, and it could solve nothing. Tears were still clinging to Qingya's eyelashes. She stared at me blankly and said, I miss my mom and dad. But your mom and dad already abandoned you. In my mind, only children abandoned by their parents would be sent to the orphanage. That only made Qingya cry even harder. In the end, there was no choice. I took out the milk candies I had treasured for a long time, tore one open, and stuffed it into her mouth, and that finally stopped her crying. That was also the first step toward us becoming best friends. Later, I learned that Qingya had been sent to the orphanage because her parents died in an accident. So, she was different from children like us who had been abandoned from birth. She was different from people like us who had been abandoned from the moment we were born. But in my heart, I still felt we were the same, because neither of us had parents. Qingya would tell me about all kinds of things outside the orphanage, lives I had never even imagined. So I especially liked sticking close to Qingya. I longed deeply for the world outside. During those 11 years in the orphanage, we were each other's only support and only family. When I was 18, I confessed my feelings to Qingya. We were accepted into the same university. In our junior year, Qingya made her first fortune writing code. She bought a small 3-bedroom apartment, and from then on, we had a home of our own. In that apartment, Qingya and I shared our first time with each other. Afterward, Qingya leaned against my shoulder and watched me design our wedding dress. We planned to get married after graduation, have 2 lovely children after the wedding, and become a happy family of 4. But fate is cruel. We spent 15 years by each other's side. Qingya filled every moment of my life. Even if I made it to heaven, without Qingya, I still wouldn't be happy. Suddenly, I began to envy the male lead Li Qingyu had mentioned. Even though he was dead, He had made a promise with the woman he loved most in heaven. I did not dare let Qingya know of his death. Qingya would never know that I would be waiting for her in heaven. Mr. Mu, why are you crying? Li Qingyu asked as he looked at me, tears streaming down my face. I hurriedly raised a hand to wipe the tears from my face, and said softly, nothing. The wind is strong. It got in my eyes. But at that moment, there wasn't even a hint of wind. But Li Qingyu didn't call out my lie. He knew. I was nowhere near as calm and resigned as I looked, facing life and death. Who wouldn't panic? Especially when I'm still so young. Li Qingyu couldn't help sighing at heaven's unfairness. Someone as kind and gentle as me could die so young. Mr. Mu, let me read you the news. It's one of our daily activities. Since I can't see, Li Qingyu picks out interesting news to read to me. He pulled out his phone. He cleared his throat. A couple somewhere imagined winning 5 million yuan, but ended up fighting over the money because they couldn't divide it evenly. A student surnamed Li found a girlfriend online who still had plenty of charm, only to discover when they met in person that she was his roommate's mother. A robber snatched more than 10,000 yuan in cash, only to have a thief steal it from him. Furious, he called the police. After reading several in a row, Li Qingyu noticed that I only twitched the corners of my mouth, with no real smile in my eyes. He sensed I was especially down today, and asked, Mr. Mu, what's wrong with you today? Are you feeling unwell somewhere? I shook my head. I just didn't sleep well last night. Actually, I hadn't slept a wink all night, because today was Qingya and Gu Wuyan's wedding. Today, the woman I loved most was getting married, and I wasn't the groom. Then let me help you inside to rest for a bit. I still shook my head, as if I'd made up my mind. Qingyu, can you put on the live broadcast of Qingya and young Master Gu Wuyan's wedding in Jing City? Li Qingyu was confused, but he still did as I asked. Mr. Mu, why are you looking up their wedding livestream? I changed my answer. I want to see just how lavish their wedding is. Let it satisfy my longing for a wedding. Li Qingyu entered a popular livestream room and turned the volume all the way up. The host said to the camera, welcome to all the new friends joining the stream. Today I'll be live streaming the lavish wedding of Jing City's rising tech star Qingya and the Gu family's young master, Gu Wuyan, from start to finish. The camera turned to the surroundings as the host began introducing everything. I heard President Lin's beloved likes lavender, so the whole wedding is mainly in pale purple. Even the chandeliers in the banquet hall are luxurious amethyst. The host kept talking about every detail of the wedding scene, from flowers flown in by air to the silk red carpet. I listened carefully, and the wedding scene formed in my mind on its own. An hour later, Gu Wuyan, dressed in a groom's suit, appeared at the entrance to the banquet hall. The host gasped softly. He's here. The bride and groom are about to take the stage. Gu Wuyan walked the red carpet in a black suit, striding toward the stage with a determined gaze. The host said in confusion, that's really strange. Why is there only the groom? Where's the bride? And didn't people online say earlier that their wedding attire was lavender themed, and that it was personally designed by Qingya? Why is Gu Wuyan wearing just an ordinary suit today? Gu Wuyan walked to the center of the stage, took the microphone, and looked at the guest. Welcome, family and friends, who have traveled so far to attend today's wedding. I offer you my sincere thanks. Before the banquet begins, I have an announcement to make. That is, today's wedding is cancelled. As soon as the words came out, the hall erupted in uproar. The host was shocked too, and started blurting out commentary. No bride at the wedding venue, and the groom's the only one standing up there announcing the cancellation. There's definitely some earth-shattering scandal here. I was shocked too. How could their wedding be cancelled? Why hadn't Qingya shown up? A flood of guesses rushed through my mind. Gu Wuyan went on. This cancellation was a mutual decision between Qingya and me. The meaning of marriage, in my view, is something sacred. On the eve of the wedding, we realized we weren't the right people for each other. In marriage, there can't be settling. We both agreed on that. So we would not enter marriage only to live like strangers afterward, and then go our separate ways. We decided to stop this mistake in time. Gu Wuyan bowed deeply to the crowd below. He thanked everyone again for coming. Qingya already said, all the cost for this banquet will be covered by her. So just treat this banquet like a big friends get-together. A reporter asked sharply, Mr. Gu, since canceling the wedding banquet was a joint decision between you and President Lin, why isn't she here at the banquet, and instead left you alone to face something this big? A proper smile stayed on Gu Wuyan's face. I don't think this is anything major. I think I can handle it myself. As for Qingya, she has more important things to do. That matter is more important than her life. As her best friend, of course I have to support her with everything I've got. Gu's father went on stage with the family to back Gu Wuyan up, and quickly left the reporters speechless. Gu Wuyan looked at the family standing beside him, supporting him, and warmth surged through his heart. At the same time, he also sent Lin Qingya his most sincere blessing, hoping she could find Mu Chen smoothly, and never be separated from him again. All along, Lin Qingya's love for me, he had seen it all. He thought Lin Qingya had loved too painfully, but now he realized that in fact, my love was even harder. What we have has always been love that goes both ways. He hoped heaven would take pity on this pair of lovers and stop tormenting them any longer. The live stream ended. Li Xingyu bluntly complained, I can tell. Mr. Gu still loves Lin Qingya for sure. Even like this, he's still protecting her like that. In my opinion, Lin Qingya definitely changed her heart. A complete timing woman. Mr. Mu, don't you think so? Right then, my mind was full of Lin Qingya and Gu Wuyan canceling the wedding. I wasn't paying attention at all to what Li Xingyu was saying. Why exactly did they cancel the wedding? Did Lin Qingya find out something? Mr. Mu, what's wrong? Did you hear what I said? I asked in a daze. What did you say? Li Xingyu raised his voice and repeated it. I said, they canceled the wedding. Lin Qingya definitely fell for someone else. A total timing woman. Before he could finish, Li Xingyu suddenly screamed. He startled me. I hurriedly reached out to feel around. Xingyu, what is it? Li Xingyu looked at the person who had suddenly appeared in front of him, covered in dust from the road, and was instantly too shocked to say a word. He swore he would never badmouth anyone behind their back again. Who could understand the shock of seeing the bride, who had been missing from the wedding, suddenly appear right in front of him? He was just about to tell me, when he saw that the person had wrapped me straight into their arms. His eyes widened even more, caught suddenly in an embrace. I thought it was Li Xingyu, but in an instant I realized something was off. The person's height and build were completely different from Li Xingyu's, so soft and well-proportioned. This was a girl's body. Who are you? Let go of me. The person said nothing, only held me even tighter. Because I was blind. I was actually in a state of panic the whole time. I was just about to struggle. I suddenly felt warm liquid soaking through my collar. She was crying. Lin Qingya's figure flashed through my mind instantly. My voice trembling, I said, Lin Qingya, is that you? Lin Qingya loosened her hold slightly. Her eyes fell on my face with unmistakable attachment. She answered softly, Mu Chen, it's me. Panic hit me, and there was only one thought in my head. She knew. No, absolutely not. I shoved Lin Qingya away in a flurry, then turned to run. But after only a couple of steps, I fell to the ground because my eyes couldn't help me. Lin Qingya chased after me in a hurry. She pulled me into her arms, full of heartache. Her voice was heavy with endless longing and grievance. Mu Chen, how much longer are you going to keep pushing me away? I shook my head. You shouldn't be here. You should be in Jing City, at the wedding, by Mr. Gu's side. Why are you here? Mu Chen, I love you. I've never stopped loving you for a single day. Please, don't push me away anymore. But I love you. I love you. I love you. I only love you. Lin Qingya didn't want to hear anything at that moment. She only wanted to tell me how much she loved me. The longing and love I'd suppressed for 3 years erupted completely at that moment. I raised my arms and held Lin Qingya tightly. Tears fell like rain. But, Lin Qingya, I'm about to die. I can't stay by her side for long. I don't want her to see me die. And I don't want her to spend the rest of her life drowning in guilt and longing for me after I'm gone. Lin Qingya lifted a hand and gently stroked my cheek. She wiped the tears from my face. Mu Chen, I won't let you die. From now on, even if I have to go to the ends of the earth, you will never leave me behind again. With that, she grabbed me and led me outside. On the way over, she had already contacted the most authoritative specialist. She was going to wrest my life back from Tao Wang. Lin Qingya took me to the car. We reached the hospital quickly. After a round of tests, the doctor looked at the report in his hands and kept sighing. The strain on every organ in my body was already severe, and there were also lesions caused by long-term use of unknown drugs. Surviving until today was already a miracle. Lin Qingya didn't believe it. She snatched the report from the doctor. Didn't you claim to have the most advanced medical technology? I just want you to save him. Money is no issue. Ms. Lin. This gentleman's condition. I am truly sorry, but we are really powerless. His body has already reached the point of being burned out. He could die at any moment. The doctor didn't finish his sentence. Everyone present understood what he meant. Qingya flew into a rage and seized the doctor's collar. Nonsense. It's clearly your incompetence. And you still dare curse Mu Chen. I lay in the hospital bed and stretched out my hand, calling Qingya's name. Qingya. Qingya immediately let go. She came to my side and took my hand. Mu Chen. I'm here, I said weakly. Qingya, take me back. I know my own body. You don't. Don't make things hard for the doctor anymore. Mu Chen, don't listen to him. You're perfectly healthy. You'll definitely stay healthy and live a long life. Qingya, take me back. I don't want to spend the last moments of my life in a hospital. Qingya coaxed me softly. Mu Chen, be good. It's this hospital that's useless. I'll take you to another hospital. Qingya, stop lying to yourself. Being able to touch your cheek once more before I die is already enough for me. Qingya still refused to give up. She took me to another hospital, but the answer was the same. Every function in my body had already reached its limit. I could die at any moment, because I insisted. Qingya took me back to the wooden cottage outside the lavender fields. Along the way, Qingya was completely on edge. She held me tightly, not even daring to blink. Terrified I'd vanish from her side without a sound the next second. I could sense her unease. I lifted my hand and followed her arm, until I touched her cheek. I soothed her and said, Qingya, don't be afraid. Qingya's eyes were red. She lowered her head and buried herself in my arms. Mu Chen, why do you have to be so foolish? I'd rather die than let you end up like this from me. Qingya, if 3 years ago our positions were reversed, what would you do? Qingya couldn't help but think seriously about it. In the end, only one answer came to mind. If 3 years ago her situation and mine were reversed, she was afraid she'd have made the same choice, because we loved each other more than our own lives. Qingya deliberately said, I definitely wouldn't be as foolish as you. I'd marry you, and after you died, I'd forget you after a few years, and marry someone else. I pretended to complain. If I'd known that, I wouldn't have saved you. Mu Chen, you shouldn't have saved me. A faint smile spread across my lips. But, Qingya, I don't want you to die. I want you to live safely and healthily in this world. Qingya's voice choked with emotion. Mu Chen, in a world without you, what meaning would my life have? That was the thing I feared most as well. So, I never dared let Qingya know the truth. I leaned against Qingya in her arms, my breathing growing shallower and shallower. Every breath came with searing pain. My organs felt as if they had been twisted to pieces. I didn't even have the strength to lift a hand. My vision was already pitch black, and now even the sounds by my ears were fading. I could only feel her scalding tears hitting my neck, soaking through my clothes. They burned so hot it tightened my chest. Mu Chen, don't fall asleep. Please, don't fall asleep. Qingya's voice was trembling beyond control. She kept gripping my hand tightly, with such force it felt like she wanted to fuse me into her very flesh and blood. Wait for me a little longer. I'll find a way. I can save you for sure. I wanted to comfort her, to tell her not to be sad, that being able to meet her in this life and protect her for a lifetime was already enough to satisfy me. But a coppery taste rose in my throat. The words stuck at my lips. I could only let out faint, ragged breaths. My consciousness began to drift away. All I could see flashing before my eyes was her. The way she cried for her parents when she was 7. The way she smiled at 18 and told me to confess to her. The way she stunned me when she put on her wedding dress. And later, the way she hated me to the bone. Her eyes full of disappointment. Maybe that's for the best. I'll just go like this. I don't have to watch her grieve herself to death for me. I don't have to leave her with the memory of me in this broken, ruined state. I slowly closed my eyes. The traffic noise in my ears slowly turned into the shrill wail of machine alarms. Qingya's heartrending cries grew farther and farther away. My body felt weightless, like it was drifting away into the distance. I thought, this time, I really was going to be parted from her forever. I don't know how long had passed. A faint beam of light cut through the darkness. I suddenly coughed hard. The searing pain in my chest dragged me back to reality. The alarms were gone from my ears. In their place was a muffled sound of sobbing, and another familiar voice. It was Gu Wuyan. I forced my eyes open with difficulty. It was still pitch black, but I could clearly feel someone holding my hand, warm and strong. Is this heaven? He's awake. Qingya. He's awake. Gu Wuyan's voice was thick with barely concealed excitement and a hint of relief. Qingya rushed over immediately. Her trembling fingers brushed my cheek. Her voice was full of joy and panic. Chen, how do you feel? Does anything hurt? Don't scare me. I parted my lips, my voice raw and hoarse. I barely managed to force out a few words. I haven't died yet. Don't say anything stupid. Qingya cut me off at once. Tears fell again. I said it before. I won't let you die. I froze. My mind was full of questions. The doctor had already delivered the final verdict. My organs were failing across the board. No medicine could save me. There was no chance I could survive. How could I suddenly be getting better? As if he could read my mind. Gu Wuyan opened his mouth to explain. His tone was complicated, with a touch of relief. It was a call from Dr. Liu. He remembered Wu Li mentioning it to him years ago. He said that in a case like your organ failure, only a full multi-organ transplant could extend your life if the match succeeded. But the surgery is incredibly difficult, and finding a match is as hard as reaching for the sky. No one has ever succeeded in all these years. That is why he didn't dare mention it before. My heart sank. A full multi-organ transplant. How could that possibly be easy? Even if there were a suitable organ donor, the surgical risks would still be fatal. What's more, with a body like mine, I wouldn't even last until the day a match was found. I know it's difficult, but even if there is only a sliver of hope, I won't give up. Qingya tightened her grip on my hand, her tone firm, without the slightest hesitation. I've already used every resource I have, searching the entire internet for a suitable donor. No matter how much money it costs, no matter how much effort it takes, I'll find one. I gently shook my head, wanting to say it wasn't necessary. It wasn't worth it. But before I could say it, the door to the ward was pushed open. A bodyguard was reporting something in a low voice. Qingya got to her feet and walked to the door. After listening, her whole body jolted. Her face changed in an instant. She hurried back. She sat by the bed, breathing hard. Her voice was full of disbelief. Chen, there's a lead on a donor. It's Wu Li. My heart lurched. I could hardly breathe. Wu Li, the man who had treated me like a human drug trial subject and tormented me for a full 3 years. How could he suddenly become a donor? Gu Wuyan sighed and slowly explained what had happened. It turned out, Qingya had previously locked Wu Li up, only posting guards to watch him, and never harmed him. She had always wanted to punish him through the legal system, to make him pay for his crimes. But Wu Li was vicious by nature, and terrified of being trapped here for the rest of his life, so he lived in constant panic. Before long, he lost his mind, and spent his days acting insane. Just yesterday, Wu Li took advantage of the bodyguards not paying attention, broke free, and ran to the rooftop to jump to his death. But just like the son he had left in a vegetative state, he slipped and fell. He didn't die on the spot, but he suffered severe brain injury. He was left in a vegetative state, with no chance of waking up. He could only be kept alive by machines. Even more coincidentally, Wu Li had once been involved in a legal business. In order to escape responsibility, he had already forged proof of his own death. He publicly claimed he had died by suicide. No one outside knew he was still alive. He had no parents and no family. His only son was already in a vegetative state, and now he had ended up like this too. There were no relatives left, and no one cared whether he lived or died. Dr. Liu stayed up all night comparing the records. His blood type matches yours exactly. All the other indicators match too. Even the health of his organs meets transplant standards. Qingya's voice trembled slightly. There was joy, and there was also struggle. This is the only chance. Chen, this is your only chance to live. I was silent. My feelings were in complete turmoil. Using Wu Li's organs to keep me alive was far too ironic. He brought me to this point, and now he was to become my hope for surviving. And doing this would inevitably cross ethical lines. I didn't want Qingya, because of me, to bear a crime she shouldn't have to carry. No. I shook my head hard. My voice was weak, but my resolve was firm. That would not be proper, and it would hurt you too. I can't let you take that risk. I won't take that risk. Qingya spoke at once, her tone unwavering. Gu Wuyan has already contacted top legal and medical teams. Wu Li faked his death, with no family and no kin, and he already committed the grave crime of illegal human experimentation. The evidence is conclusive. He's in a vegetative state now, with no self-awareness, and no family authorization. After hospital and relevant department approval, it qualifies for the special organ donation procedure. It's completely legal and compliant. It won't implicate anyone, and it certainly won't make me a criminal. That's right. Everything is being handled through legal procedures. Qingya is very careful, and she'll never leave behind any hidden risk. Wu Li was already guilty of monstrous crimes. Using his organs to save you would count as his atonement. Mu Chen, this is fate. It's heaven giving you a chance to live. You can't give up. I opened my mouth, but I could no longer force out a refusal. I could feel Ling Qingya's fear. She was afraid of losing me, afraid she'd never see me again in this life. I was afraid I would really leave her alone in this world. But my eyes, I touched my own eyes, my heart full of regret. Even if I survived, I still wouldn't be able to see her. I wouldn't see her in a wedding dress. I wouldn't see the way she smiled. Ling Qingya took my hand and placed it against her cheek. Her voice was gentle yet resolute. I asked the doctor, Wu Li's corneas are perfectly healthy. They can be transplanted to you at the same time. Once the surgery succeeds, you'll be able to see. You'll be able to see me clearly. At that moment, I could no longer hold back my tears. They slid down the corners of my eyes. So, heaven wasn't heartless after all. It had simply saved the best arrangement for the very end. I choked up, unable to finish a sentence. My heart was full of guilt and love for her. Don't speak. Save your strength. Ling Qingya gently wiped away my tears, her eyes full of tenderness, with no trace of her old hatred left. Only a love too deep to fade remained. The surgery began soon after. I'll be waiting outside the operating room for you. I won't leave your side. When you wake up, everything will be okay. Gu Wuyan also patted my shoulder. His tone was sincere. Don't worry. The surgical team is the best in the world. It will definitely succeed. You still need to stay by Qingya's side. Don't push her away anymore. I nodded. I held Ling Qingya's hand tightly, feeling her warmth. My heart gradually settled. The despair and pain that had once hovered on the edge of life and death were slowly replaced by hope. I had once thought I would only be able to carry my secret into eternal sleep, never again able to stay by her side. But now, I had a chance to live. When I was wheeled into the operating room, I could feel Ling Qingya's gaze fixed on me the whole time. She said to me softly, Mu Chen, I'll wait for you to come out. Put on the suit I made for you. I'll be wearing my wedding dress, waiting for you to look at me. The anesthesia gradually took effect. There was only one thought in my mind. I had to live. I had to open my eyes and see her. The surgery went even more smoothly than expected. After more than 10 full hours, the operating room lights finally went out. The doctor walked out of the operating room, removed his mask, and looked at the crowd waiting with bated breath. The doctor took a deep breath, then let out a relieved smile. The surgery was a success. Neither the organ transplant nor the corneal transplant showed any sign of rejection. The patient has made it through the danger period. As long as he rests well, he'll recover completely. With that said, Ling Qingya instantly went limp and collapsed to the floor. Tears poured out in a torrent. The heart she'd been holding in suspense these past few days finally settled back down. Gu Wuyan hurriedly helped her up. A relieved smile also appeared on his face. After so many days of torment, there was finally the best possible outcome. I lay in the ICU for 3 days, before being slowly moved to a regular ward. Thick bandages were wrapped around my eyes. Although I still couldn't open them, I could still feel the light. I could clearly hear Ling Qingya's voice. She stayed at my bedside, never leaving my side. She wiped me down, helped me drink water, and spoke to me in a soft voice, telling me of the longing and regret she'd carried all these years. Mu Chen, I wronged you before. I was so harsh to you, so terrible. Will you blame me? I don't blame you, I answered softly, a smile touching my lips. I was the one in the wrong. I shouldn't have lied to you. I shouldn't have pushed you away. I made you suffer so much. From now on, we'll never be apart again. Okay. Ling Qingya took my hand, her voice carrying cautious hope. Okay, we'll never be apart again. I nodded hard. For the rest of my life, I'll never let go of her hand again. Another week passed. It was time to remove the bandages. Ling Qingya stayed by the bedside, her palms sweating with nerves. Her eyes were full of hope and anxiety. The doctor slowly unwrapped the bandages over my eyes. Layer after layer. Light slowly seeped in, fading from blur to clarity. I slowly opened my eyes. The first thing that came into view was Qingya's face. Her eyes were red-rimmed, her face streaked with tears. Yet she was smiling with such tenderness. Her eyes were full of starlight. She looked exactly like the 17-year-old girl in my memory. Not changed at all. I really could see. I could see the girl I'd thought about day and night. Qingya. I called her softly. My voice was still a little weak, but full of love. Qingya couldn't hold it in any longer. She threw herself into my arms and burst into tears. All the emotion she'd been holding back for so long finally broke loose. Chen, you can see. You really can see. I lifted a hand and held her gently. My fingers stroked her long hair, feeling her real warmth. My heart was overflowing with happiness. The pain of the past, the torment, the misunderstandings, the regrets, in that moment, all vanished into thin air. After several months of recovery, my body gradually healed. I was no longer as weak and frail as before. I could walk normally, eat normally, and stay properly by Qingya's side. That day, the sunlight was perfect. Warm sunlight spilled into the room. Qingya changed into the pale lavender bridal gown she had designed herself. She slowly walked up to me. The hem trailed along the floor, and the embroidered lavender looked almost alive. It made her look especially beautiful and radiant. She was breathtaking enough to stop time itself. She stood before me, eyes curved with a smile. Her smile soft and tender. She asked me softly, Chen, do I look good? I looked at her. My eyes grew wet. I nodded hard and said, word for word, beautiful. You are the most beautiful person I've ever seen. This was the wedding gown I once designed for her. It was the happiness we promised each other when we were young. Now, she was wearing that wedding gown, standing right in front of me, and I could see her clearly. I had a chance to walk through life with her. I stood up and held her tightly. Then I whispered in her ear, Qingya, I'm sorry. I made you wait so long. For the rest of my life, year after year, I'll stay by your side. I will never leave you again, and I will never let you suffer any grievance again. Qingya leaned against my chest, tears sliding down her face, but a happy smile curved her lips. Okay, we'll be together for life. The sunlight outside was just right, and the breeze was gentle. The suffering of the past had become the past. From this day on, every day ahead would be filled with sunshine and love that went both ways. I had endured all the pain and despair, and finally held on to my girl, bringing us the perfect ending we deserved. The end.